Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, I'm going to be showing you guys 10 super easy tips and tricks that will make you the best trader of all time in Red Dead Online. So, I believe this is the most complicated role that Rockstar has introduced with the most moving parts and pieces. But if you follow my advice, I think you will find that the trader role can be incredibly popular. So let's begin with what materials you can actually bring to Cripps. You can't bring him everything. In fact, the only thing you can bring him and what he will take is unskinned carcasses, pelts, feathers, plumes, and horns. Anything else, he is not going to accept. So meat, animal fat, fish, skinned carcasses, do not bring that to Cripps. Honestly, you're better off bringing stuff like that to the butcher. In fact, I think either tomorrow or maybe in a couple of days, we're going to be going over not only the best campsite locations if you want to be a trader, but also what's the best animals to bring him in order to maximize your material supply. But we're going to be talking about that because there's so many details to go over in a future video. But those are the things that you need to bring him. Unskinned carcasses, pelt, feathers, plumes, and horns. Everything else, take straight to the butcher and sell there. Honestly, it's good to do both, but you just need to know what you can bring Cripps. Number 2, if you're a little bit confused, is how many materials you need in order to maximize that bar at the very top. Well, just know that that bar at the top is 100 total units of raw material. This will make sense a little bit later when we start talking about goods, but that bar equals 100 units of raw materials altogether. So just keep that in mind. Moving on at the number 3 spot, let's talk about the second part of being a trader, and that is making sure your operational supplies are good to go. So you need to make sure you have raw materials, but also supplies in order to make goods. Now, one thing to know is that if you order the supplies, not only is it going to cost $20, but it's also going to take 10 minutes to arrive, which in my opinion doesn't make it worth it. Instead, what you should do every time your supplies are low, I'm talking about operational supplies, not raw materials, is do the resupply missions. So not only are the resupply missions going to save you money because you're not going to be spending $20, they're oftentimes easier and faster than having to wait the 10 minutes for the new supplies to arrive. So I'll give you guys a couple of examples of what's going on here. Oftentimes, it's just go grab a wagon that's located right around the corner. So please do the resupply missions instead of paying for supplies. Now, another huge benefit to doing these resupply missions is they will give you a ton of XP. In fact, doing these resupply missions gave me more XP than giving goods to Cripps and also doing any of the sell missions. So if you're finding yourself having a hard time ranking up as a trader, well, you might just want to consistently do the resupply missions because I was getting 500 to 600 trader XP every single time. And on top of all of that, they're also pretty fun and can lead to some other opportunities as well. Like, for example, some of the quests might have you going to defend a campsite where you can then loot the enemies that try to kill you. It could also lead to some pretty fun encounters, which at the end of the day, that's what it is. These resupply missions are actually pretty fun. They don't seem tedious and boring like the ones in Grand Theft Auto Online. And they have all the other benefits that I just mentioned. So keep that in mind right there. So we've talked about materials, we've talked about supplies. Let's talk about goods now. So you might be wondering how long it takes to produce one good in Red Dead Online, and that is 2 minutes. So 2 minutes will get you one good. So in order to get 100 total goods, you guessed it, that is 200 minutes or a little over 3 hours. Now, if you're wondering if your goods will produce when you are not playing Red Dead Online, the answer is no. You have to be in a Red Dead Online session in order for your goods to start producing. And you don't have to be at your camp monitoring Cripps. You don't have to be standing there. You can be doing whatever you want. You can be doing other bounty hunting stuff, other collector stuff. And as long as you have the raw materials and as long as you have the supply, the operational stuff, you will continue to produce goods. So as long as you're in Red Dead Online, your goods will continue to go up. Moving on, another thing you might not have known is that goods take 2 raw materials in order to make. So remember earlier how we talked about how you have 100 units of raw materials. That means that if you have a full set of 100 units, you can only produce 50 goods. So the 100 units of raw materials won't be enough to produce 100 goods. You basically get 50% of what you end up putting in. So you are going to have to consistently sort of resupply your raw materials if you want to get a full batch of goods to sell. Now let's talk about selling. A lot of people have been wondering, what do I do? Do I sell local? Do I sell distant? And the reason people have been asking that is because if you sell distant, you end up getting 25% more money. So a lot of people are thinking, oh, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to sell distance. Well, not so fast. Even though you get 25% more cash, it's not worth it at all. Always sell local for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you sell local, there is no alert message that is put out to other players in the lobby that you are selling. That means you're pretty much invisible and no one is going to bother you while you're on your business delivery mission. How awesome is that? So selling local means that you won't have any interference from other players. Now, another reason why you should always do local deliveries versus the long one is the distance. The local deliveries are only going to take like a minute or 2 minutes, whereas the long distance deliveries literally have you going like all the way across the map. Like, I remember one of my deliveries had me starting basically right outside of Valentine, and I had to go all the way to Saint Denis. Like, do you know the distance you have to go on a little wagon that's not only exposed to other players, but also could be exposed to the world, the elements, tipping over? Don't do the long deliveries. It is not worth it to end up getting the 25% extra money. In fact, it doesn't even make sense mathematically because it takes you like 7 extra minutes in order to get to the long distance place, where you could use that extra 7 minutes to be doing something more efficient as a trader, bounty hunter, or a collector. It doesn't matter as long as you're using your time wisely and not stuck on a super long mission. Trust me, it's just way better to do the short deliveries. Now, some miscellaneous tips I want to end with here. I am not a high enough trader rank yet to unlock the hunting wagon that allows you to put multiple pelts and carcasses in the back. However, tricks that you can use from single player and even normal Red Dead Online gameplay still work. Like, for example, if you want to carry multiple carcasses back to your camp so that you can deliver them to crypts, just lasso one of the dead carcasses and sort of drag it behind your horse. It doesn't actually damage the carcass, and what this will allow you to do is deliver more than one carcass of like a large animal that might not fit on your horse at the same time. So use simple tricks like that, and there might be hundreds of others that you guys know of. This is just one that I've always used from single player in Red Dead Online when I've been looking to deliver multiple carcasses to a location, lassoing it and just dragging it along the way. So use tips and tricks like that to maximize your, I guess, raw material production for crypts. Also, it's really easy to get free quality animal parts and pelts from random drops. Like, I was actually doing some bounty hunting yesterday, and I came across this like camp of, you know, the bounty hunter's friends or the target's friends, and like all of them had like good and perfect pelts on them. So every time I kept looting them, I ended up getting like perfect raw material supplies for crypts. So I was basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So essentially, go out of your way, just loot everything you can. You might end up with some animal parts or supplies that you could give to crypts. Also, when you're resupplying, when you're doing those resupplying missions, just know that your white flag at camp, the one that allows you to not get shot by other players, that gets lowered. I'm not sure why that is the case. I did find it to be a bit random. However, as soon as you are done with the mission, the white flag ends up returning back to its normal raised position. It's just something to keep in mind that your camp is not safe when you're on those resupply missions. And last but not least today, PS4 players actually get some free items for being a collector. So Rockstar announced that in addition to getting the free butcher's table to get started as a trader, PlayStation 4 players will also receive the Trader Camp theme and Weapons Locker, both unlocked at Trader Roll 5 for free of charge from the Wilderness Outfitter store through October 14th. So you've basically got a little over a month in order to take advantage of that. Basically, you just have to unlock them using the tokens, and then you will bypass the super expensive fee for both those items. So it is nice to be a PS4 player at this time, as you'll be getting some extra benefits as a trader. But anyways, that right there is 10 super easy tips and tricks that you might not have known about that will make you the best trader in Red Dead Online. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Do you know of any other tips and tricks that will make you a successful trader that we did not mention in this video? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And remember to subscribe if you guys are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest Red Dead Redemption 2 Frontier Pursuit videos that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days and weeks. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.